Welcome to the Host Burns channel. I am your host Burns for another video that you will be waiting for. So focus, relax, watch and enjoy, and don't forget, subscribe and press the notification bell. Let's start. Less than 5% of the ocean has been investigated by humans, and there have been far more manned missions to the moon than to the deepest part of the sea. Some people believe the ocean truly is the final frontier on Earth, and it never ceases to produce bizarre items without explanation. Today we're looking at the scariest things found underwater. According to Greek legend, the city of Atlantis sunk into the ocean in one single day, wiping its existence off the Earth 11,000 years ago. Since that time, scientists, treasure hunters, and philosophers have searched endlessly to find even a trace of the lost world, said to be partially intact somewhere below the ocean waves. Being one of the most well-known legends in the world, anything found during an ocean dive, even resembling a man-made structure, has caused serious waves of media attention. In 1968, a diver off the coast of North Bimini Island, Bahamas, discovered a series of stones 18 feet below the surface. The stones appeared man-made and were evenly spaced out in a road-like line stretching a half-mile. A storm of publicity immediately descended on the discovery, with a number of individuals claiming the stones were a portion of a wall or a road that was formerly part of a larger city. Everyone hoped the discovery would be connected to Atlantis, and the discovery of two other similar roads spurred the excitement. When the road was first discovered in 1968, the divers who found it described it as pavement. Subsea archaeologists Joseph Manson Dallentine, Jacques Mael, and Robert Angot then discovered that what they thought was a long continuous rock were actually smaller stones arranged in a linear formation. As they brought their discovery to other archaeologists, speculation began to arise that this road had not come about naturally. While it is unlikely that the road came from Atlantis, its origin remains a mystery. In April 2011, a group of Swedish scientists called Ocean X, led by Peter Lindberg, announced with fanfare the discovery of a strange and huge object at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. According to the team, they returned from an expedition in the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland with a blurry but interesting sonar image while searching for an old shipwreck in the summer of 2011. They have claimed their image shows a 60-meter diameter circular object with features resembling ramps, stairways, and other structures not produced by nature. The group revisited the site the following year, intending to get a clearer image, but claimed mysterious electrical interference prevented them. Following a story published by the UK tabloid newspaper The Daily Mail in June 2012, a number of imaginative illustrations resembling underwater photos or high-resolution scans circulated, along with rumors that the object could be a UFO, a portal into another world, or an underwater Stonehenge. This mystery of the Baltic Sea anomaly remains unsolved. In 2013, archaeologists discovered a train graveyard off the coast of New Jersey, where two rare locomotives from the 1850s lay preserved under 90 feet of water. It remains a mystery how the two steam engines were sunk. There is no historical record of them ever being built, and no record of them being lost. Explorers believe that the engines were lost in a storm 5 miles off the coast of Long Branch, New Jersey, as they were being transported from Boston to the mid-Atlantic. They either fell off the barge, experts believe, or were deliberately pushed off to prevent the ship from going down in rough seas. Though they are encrusted in 160 years' worth of rust, they remain remarkably well preserved. City officials hope to pull the trains from the water and refurbish them. They belong in a museum, not at the bottom of the ocean, said one concerned citizen. The wood engineers' cabins have long ago rotted away, along with most of the smokestacks and cowcatchers, leaving just the barrel of the boiler and the wheels. The engines are completely stripped of valving, instruments, lamps, and any other kind of artifact that might be of interest. Everything that remains is heavily encrusted with marine growth. A 5,000-year-old monument reappeared in Spain in 2019 after being submerged at the bottom of a reservoir for 50 years. The megalithic site featured 144 granite blocks that stand more than 6 feet tall and has been dubbed Spanish Stonehenge. Its similarity to the UNESCO World Heritage Site in Wiltshire is striking, but the Iberian version is made of smaller rocks. Known as Dolmen de Guadalperal, the 7,000-year-old megalithic structure was first spotted by NASA satellite images. Also known as the Treasure of Guadalperal, the structure dates between 2000 and 3000 BC and is located in Peraleda de la Mata, a municipality of slightly more than 1,400 people and 105 miles away from Madrid. The structure, of which there are approximately 150 stones, is back on dry land due to record heat and drought in Europe. For decades, only the tips of the ancient structure could be glimpsed from above. All my life, people have told me about the dolmen. Angelo Castagno, president of the local Roots of Paraleta Cultural Association, told Atlas Obscura's Alyssa McMurtry. I had seen parts of it peeking out from the water before, but this is the first time I've seen it in full. It's spectacular because you can appreciate the entire complex for the first time in decades, he added. In 2018, archaeologists uncovered a Native American burial site dating back 7,000 years off the coast of Florida. The site was found by an amateur diver in 2016 who was looking for shark teeth but stumbled on an ancient jawbone. In a picture sent from the diver, archaeologist Ryan Duggins noticed a worn-down molar tooth attached to the jawbone. This suggested it belonged to a prehistoric person. Florida state officials called the find an unprecedented discovery. Mr. Duggins and his team began investigating the site from the Archaic period, located 900 feet from shore. The burial grounds are expected to cover about 32,000 square feet off the coast of Minnesota Key. In a statement, the Florida Department of State said that the burial ground has been dated to around 7,000 years ago. At that time, sea levels were much lower than they are today, creating the small inland freshwater pond there. Duggins tells Gannon that when ancient indigenous people buried their dead in ponds such as this one, they hammered sharpened stakes into the pond bed, surrounding the body with wooden markings that protruded out of the water. Though the newly discovered graveyard was eventually covered by deeper waters, the peat bottom remained intact. Peat slows the process of organic decay, the Florida Department of State explains in its statement, which allowed the site to stay well preserved. Dead men tell no tales, but the waterways of New York City contain plenty of stories. From shipwrecks to an upright dining table to a dead giraffe, a cornucopia of strange objects have been discovered in the shadowy depths of the Hudson and East Rivers, New York Harbor, and the city's surrounding waters. Of all the things you'd expect to find in the city's port of call, a long-necked African mammal probably isn't one of them. The Army Corps of Engineers found the corpse of a giraffe in Lower New York Bay. The animal likely ended up in the water after trying to escape from a circus ship, according to New York Magazine, possibly sometime in the early 1980s. The story was rekindled recently after a 2009 article in the New York Post failed to get much attention. It's unclear exactly what happened to the poor animal, but investigative journalists believe that the body was incinerated by local authorities. The SS Kamloops is a purportedly haunted ship sitting at the bottom of Lake Superior. Many believe that an unfortunate spirit, nicknamed both Grandpa and Old Whitey, was trapped on the ship while it sank, and he continues to haunt it almost a century later. With a length of only 250 feet and rated at 2,402 gross tons, the SS Kamloops was a relatively small vessel for the Great Lakes in the 1920s. She was built to fit inside the locks of the Welland Canal and other Canadian-operated canals of the lower Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River during the years prior to the construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway. Unfortunately for the Kamloops and other vessels assigned to Lake Superior runs, a massive storm began hammering the lake on December 5, 1927. The Kamloops, heavily coated with ice, was last seen steaming toward the southeastern shore of Isle Royale at dusk on the following day, December 6th. A search for the vessel began on December 12th, concentrating on the Keweenaw Peninsula and Isle Royale. The search continued until December 22nd. However, the ship and the 22 men and women aboard were never again seen alive. Divers still visit the cursed vessel every year, and many complain of supernatural activity. The world's oldest known computer lay submerged for more than 2,000 years off the treacherous coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. Beneath the weight of the water, the sand, and the wrecked ship that once carried it, the ancient astronomical computer's bronze gears and mechanical parts slowly warped and rusted. It's believed that this complex clock-like device was used by ancient Greeks to calculate the movement of the stars and planets. The device was too fragile to be removed from its home at the National Archaeological Museum of Athens, so the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project team constructed a 12-ton portable micro-focus computerized tomographer that used high-resolution X-rays to probe the object and create a three-dimensional image. The discovery of a piece of the world's oldest analog computer will be a huge and remarkable discovery on its own terms, but it has additional significance in what it can tell us about the development of the field of archaeology itself. It reveals the advanced astrological instruments created and used by ancient engineers, but the protracted nature of the undersea dig reveals archaeological advances in scanning, 3D modeling, and many other sophisticated approaches in reconstructing and analyzing the computer. A gigantic monument at the bottom of the Sea of Galilee, as well as several mysterious structures, including a gigantic stone wheel and a moon-shaped monument, were recently found in northern Israel. The mysterious structures have left archaeologists around the world bewildered. Who built them? And what were they used for? Theories have gone wild and include ancient calendars, ceremonial structures, or sky burial sites, in which dead bodies were placed on top of stone mounds to be picked apart by vultures. Even wilder is that no archaeological evidence of a city is near them, and some have therefore posited that the structure is in fact a huge monument carrying symbolic significance. The structure is comprised of basalt rocks, arranged in the shape of a cone. It measures 230 feet at the base of the structure, is 32 feet tall, and weighs an estimated 60,000 tons. It is twice the size of the ancient stone circle at Stonehenge in England. It is anywhere between 3,000 and 12,000 years old, making them older than the Pyramid of Giza and Stonehenge in Great Britain. A total of 87 unexploded World War II bombs were found on a Hampshire beach in the UK in 2011. The mortars were exposed on Calshot Beach by a combination of extremely low tides and high atmospheric pressure. Royal Navy bomb disposal expert Lieutenant Commander Al Necruz said, "It's quite an unusual amount and scale of ordnance." 6 devices were washed up on the same beach and destroyed by bomb disposal experts. The 87 mortars, measuring about 4 inches by 20 inches, were dealt with by a 5-man bomb disposal team from the Royal Navy's Southern Diving Unit 2. Thankfully, they were all handled safely.